So okay, gaming rig already tuned, RGB and everything. Now you want to buy a chair for your setup. But which one? So today we are going to compare 3 typical options. The typical office chair, typical China OEM gaming chair, and lastly, the premium vended gaming chair to see which one is actually worth your money. So on to the first one. Representing the office chair segment is the Ikea Renberget. This is a cheap chair, typically can be had for around 200 ringgit Malaysia or $50. The chair actually looks very nice with its all black and minimalistic approach. Very typical IKEA styling, which is actually very nice. However, the thing I dislike the most about this chair is that the padding is not very thick. After sitting around 2 or 3 hours, you can feel the wooden base of the chair and the overall heat. The padding are also not that thick, only around I think 5 to 6 cm thickness, which is actually not a lot for a chair. However, beside the weak points, the chair is actually very solid feeling. The back feels solid, the wheels are smooth, the hydraulic also functions very well. You can also adjust the rocking via the knob underneath. But still, the chair is not very ergonomic. No lumbar support, can't recline, no neck and head support. So not much adjustment can be had from this chair. By the way, just for reference, I'm 185 cm tall and 80 kg in weight. The other good points about this chair is that despite the cheap price, it doesn't squeak and make any annoying noises. Now on to our next contender, the China OEM gaming chair. Actually, you can find this awash online. Usually for around quite cheap, around 350 ringgit Malaysia or $100. Now, right off the bat, I will say that this gaming chair is a lot more feature packed than the previous IKEA chair. You can recline the chair for one, and then it comes also with a nice neck pillow and also a backrest pillow. The armrest is also adjustable, which is always a plus. But what makes this chair a deal breaker for me is that there is a lot of place where the chair is actually just hollow with no padding, and you can actually feel the chair frame, and it's not just on the sides. Even on the back bolster, it is hollow. I mean, it's literally just pure leather with none of the sponge underneath. So when you sit, you can feel the metal of the frame directly on your body. And trust me, it is uncomfortable. And even where there is padding, it is very thin, around 5 to 7 cm, which is just slightly thicker than the IKEA chair. The bottom padding is also very thin, half of what it is on a good gaming chair. You can see side by side, the difference is obvious. Another disappointing thing about this chair is that although there is the included pillow at the backrest, but it feels very thin and feels too soft, providing very poor support. I mean, you can see the obvious difference between the padding. So another quality complaint about this chair that I have is that it actually uses only single stitching compared to the double stitching, which is far more durable. So single stitching is not only on the pillows but actually extend, you can see, to the whole chair. This makes the chair more fragile on the seams and more prone for tearing. Another quality issue of the cheap China chair is that although the armrest is adjustable, it feels honestly super wobbly and super noisy. And another quality complaint, the rubber attaching the back of the support pillow becomes very lax only after a few months of use. Although this doesn't really affect the function of the chair. Amazingly, at this price, the base of the chair is actually metal and the wheels are actually quite decent. It's quite smooth. Honestly guys, the chair feels cheap, man. I mean, when you sit on it, it squeaks and rattles all the time. Now, finally, on to the best chair on this list, the Vertagear SL4000. Now, this chair is actually quite a pricey chair, considered to be in the same bracket as, Underseat Kaiser, Noble Chair, and it's kind of popular with YouTubers. The chair actually retails for around, I think, 1,300 ringgit Malaysia or around $350. It is apparent when you get a chair that the build quality is so much better than the other two. Everything feels solid, there's no small squeaking everywhere. It also comes in a higher and more durable feeling pure leather, and it's also double stitched all around. The perforated leather also helps heat dissipation. As you can hear, the armrest mechanism also feels very solid and very smooth. It is also 4D adjustable, meaning it can be tilted side to side, front and back, and the usual up and down. So, the favorite feature about this chair is actually it is generously padded with a minimum padding thickness of around 6 cm, while the seat base is more than twice thicker at around 12 to 40 cm. Honestly, sitting on this chair feels like sitting on a sofa. The sides of the chair are also generously padded with no hollow spots, unlike the OEM chair, so you don't feel the frame. The wheels is also very smooth and has very little drag. You can hear for yourself, it's silent. The other good features of this chair are the metal base, the good hydraulics, and did I mention the super thick padding of the chair? Oh, and also the recline mechanism is super smooth. Overall, the chair feels great. I mean, you can really feel why it is so much more expensive than the other chair. Because while the features are similar, the build quality and execution of the Vertagear is so much better than the other two chairs. So, in conclusion, is the most expensive chair worth it? Well, let's see. For me, I feel that Ikea for 200 ringgit at that price, you can get a cheaper office chair with more ergonomic features. For I think around $120, 120 ringgit Malaysia, or around $50. For the China OEM chair, it squeaks and rattles all the time, so I won't even consider that as a good gaming chair. I wouldn't consider that one. The Vertagear, while good, it is at around $400 or around 1,300 ringgit Malaysia, so it is pricey, and I do feel that the gap is quite significant between the other two chairs, and at that price, there's actually cheaper options that perform similar to the Vertagear. So that's really not the point of this video. The point of this video is actually to help you choose which is the best chair according to the features versus price versus quality. So for me, a good gaming chair has to have number one, a thick padding and a good quality leather material. So the padding preferably would be a cold cure foam. So that's better than normal foam and memory foam because it doesn't sink so much, and then it has more supportive to your weight. And then number two is that the leather material. I mean, you can get original leather, like I know Noble Chair sell gaming chair in original leather, but for me, I think synthetic leather and PU leather is okay. There's really no problem. The only thing is just make sure it's perforated and slightly breathable, and as long as you sit in an air-conditioned room, it's okay. But if you live in a non-air-conditioned room or your place is very humid, very hot, you can consider cloth seats. But I prefer leather seat because I have two children and I find that leather seat is so much easier to clean. So number two in the feature list, that what I consider to be important in a good gaming chair is I think acceptable adjustability. For me, height adjustment and the armrest adjustment to the armrest adjustment is important. So this is important because you need to make sure that your position is ergonomically correct, which is the eye has to be level to the monitor, to the top of the monitor, and then your arms has to be bent 90 degrees, your elbow has to be 90 degrees on the table. So you can adjust the height and the armrest height to achieve that ergonomic position. So another thing is that, in my opinion, if you have a back or neck issue, a word of advice is, I mean, you can use a gaming chair, but it would be better if you get a good ergonomic chair, because ergonomic chair actually you can adjust the neck adjustment and the back adjustment instead of the typical gaming chair way, which is, you know, putting like a pillow on the back, which helps, but it doesn't give you a fine-tuned support for your back. So if you have back issues, get an ergonomic chair, forget about a gaming chair. Actually, the market is awash with options. You just have to look around and get the, you know, the ones that is correct for your budget. So I would consider that for around 200, you can get, like, you know, these two examples from Shopee. Both are around only 200 ringgit. For around 400 to 700, got macam-macam kerusi ada. You can get like kerusi Thomas, and then there's, I think, the Gaming Freak GT Throne or something like that. That's just gonna set you around 400 to 700 lah. For more than 1k, I mean, you're awash for options. There's Vertagear, and then there's Noble Chairs, and then there's Anda Seat, and then there's also the Secret Lab lah. So be a smart consumer. Look at the specs of the chair, look why one is more expensive than the other, and get the one that is suitable for your needs. I think that is the most important part. So anyway guys, if you find this video helpful and you like to see this kind of content, do consider to leave a like and sub, and I see you guys next time. Ciao.